Full. All right, Julia, thank you so much. So we have Julia on stage now that's going to be talking to us about the digital age of user identification. Thank you for joining us. I think the stage is yours. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause.
Can you hear me well? Good, thank you. Thank you for a chance to speak about this hot topic of user verification with all this hustle and bustle around travel rule and like European Union verification. I have one question to you before I start. How many of you are obliged to verify users actually by law, by the regulation? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And how many of you will need also to verify counterparties of your users later as a part of travel rule? Not. Oh, yeah, there are also participants. Then good. Then I will be happy to tell you about how it works currently, how it will work later on, and how technology can help you to collect necessary data, how to analyze it properly, and how still to build the frictionless verification flows for your users. Let's start. Do you already know how big is verification market? Last year it was calculated as around 10 billion, and it's forecasted to grow even further, twice by the 2027. What does it mean for us? I don't think that these numbers are actually relevant for our understanding. Is it good for our business or bad? But it means that regulators are really interested to see who is going to be verified, how, and what this data will be standing for. If we speak about users' verifications in crypto, what do we have these days? We have standard KYC, we have this video identification, and electronic KYC, which is also popular in some jurisdictions. I would say that this user identification overview is the basis where you start onboarding the customer and when you need to get their finance. So with standard KYC, I will show you later a table how it works globally in European Union, and I will highlight how in Switzerland it looks like, because Switzerland still stays a bit neutral to any type of hustle verification in Switzerland, and their compliance part is extremely clear. And I would say that personally, as a provider for KYC, I think that Swiss regulator is our favorite one, because we always know what shall we do, our clients always know what they should do, and the feedback is also very transparent. If we speak about electronic verification, this is part that is going to be implemented in many countries soon, like in Baltic states, in Northern Europe, they already have these bank IDs, and it's even quicker to be verified. They have sometimes even more trust. Instead of like verifying themselves in multiple exchanges and multiple wallets, they still have their bank IDs, they click it, couple of clicks, showing the face, and everyone is verified. Currently, European compliance requirements looks like this. So each and every country has some of their specifics. Like in Switzerland, we need this MRZ codes in any documents, but also the problem with Switzerland regulation, for instance, if your clients are out of Switzerland, you still need this MRZ code. But not every single document has this MRZ code. And again, how we can keep these customers onboarded, what shall we do in that case? Luckily, we have MICA that will be soon implemented in all the European Union, and this will be the harmonization approach that will help you to get one license and without further passporting, get their operation activities legalized in all countries you are operating in Europe. We also have currently European Anti-Money Laundering Authority that is controlling our activities, and Swiss technologically neutral approach where you all, I guess, get licenses. By the way, how many of you are regulated by Swiss authority? Oh, okay, good. 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Let's have a look what we have this year. After all these turbulent times, horrible news about FTX, and some other, players in the market, users do not feel safe. They do not trust exchanges, and this is one of the problem in crypto. So if I put my money, if I put my assets in your platform, how can I be sure that my money are not like used somehow by the company? And with this kind of information and the background, and users still somehow doubt that all crypto companies on blockchain companies are trustworthy. And luckily, we have this regulation that helps us to build the trust between our users and the platform. So right now, they are implementing a couple of other requirements like travel rule. This one is also a hot topic right now because this regulation will be implemented step by step in different countries. In some of them, like Switzerland, it's already active, which is good, but there is a sunrise effect. If I'm a Swiss crypto company, but my users would like to transact with clients from, for instance, Taiwan, then they don't have travel rule yet. It will be implemented soon, or in UK, which will be implemented in September. So how we can confirm that their identity is verified, that this is the same beneficiary? And this is the question where I will cover in the next slides. So right now I'm showing you who needs to comply with travel rule. I hope you can find yourself there, because actually all this travel rule, all these MiCA regulations, what they stand for, they say that, okay, crypto is now legal. It's not the asset that is like shady or someone don't know where it comes from and where it go. It's regulated as any bank account. So it's obviously like getting driver's license. So you now can drive actively whenever you want. And regarding this travel rule solution and identifications of the user as a part of travel rule, I'm showing you now the scheme, what's happening between the exchanges. So despite the fact that not each and every exchange is connected to the protocol, the travel rule regulation offers you to start verifying clients and trying to call the protocol to ensure that the clients have already identity. The interesting fact here is that depending on the volumes of transaction, you should do it like as a must, or you can skip it by now. If ATF travel rule says that it could be the transactions below 1,000 euro, you can skip them and do not verify the customers. But MiCA, which is European regulation, they say no, you should skip any threshold and verify all of them. You don't need passports, you don't need IDs for the documents and their counterparties. You need this IML screening and watchlist check to ensure that this is trustworthy user. At the same time, architecture-wise, it looks a bit complicated. But in practice, it's very, very easy approach, because when the customer starts initiating the transaction, the protocol already has a callback. Is this user already existing on the platform? Is this user verified? And based on the ongoing monitoring, is this user not under sanctions or like criminal? That's all we need. And here is the map how the travel rule penetrates the market. So sooner or later, almost every country will be at the part of this requirement. So when you need to find the travel rule solution, or when you need to find an onboarding solution, what's you should think first? I would say it's always about global coverage. Even if you're planning to be regulated only in Switzerland, if you don't need this passporting and getting licenses everywhere, you still need to think about potential global users who may come to the platform, who may want to participate in European financial market. And in that case, global coverage and ability to verify customers different ways, including like NFCs, including IDs, which are electronic ones, is very, very important. Another topic that is important to bear in mind when you speak about users' identification this time is IML compliance, because it's all about sanctions these days, and the sanctions are updated. When I tried to count the number of sanctions imposed during last year, it's the maximum number during the last year, the sanctions are getting enforced more and more often. And final part that is also interesting to discuss is this flexible integration, because as I've mentioned, the travel rule protocol will be imposed within the whole Europe, and by like 2025 also MICA will harmonize all the requirements, but still the protocols are different. And even if you plan to have it inside your company, even if you don't need a provider for this, you still need to think that maybe one day it's easier to connect to the protocol, to several protocols, to harmonize all your pre-screening, like iPhone or phone email verification, and then this full KYC and transaction monitoring in one place. So, what's next? I believe that enhanced cooperation among all European member states will be in place, definitely. We still have challenge that there is no universal approach in terms of users' identification, about identification even this VSPs, and we will rely on adopting these protocols step by step. I personally believe that regulatory requirements for DeFi will also take place. So right now, as I was showing a couple of slides before, many companies still do not need to comply with verification requirements. But now it seems that crypto is moving closer and closer to traditional finance. So one day we still feel ourselves as a banking market at the end. And if you want to prepare to this, it's always important to bear in mind that you may need QACML policies and the relevant training for the employees regarding how to detect their illegal activities, which kind of users you need to verify, because it's always can be a risk-based approach, combined approach, and you can build, like, based on the workflow builders, some logic how you are interacting with the customers, and of course proper record keeping, because what I noticed also with the regulators, some of them has this effect that they're looking at your past activities, and even if the regulations is coming into the force like next year, they can have a look at your activities this year, and it's always a question about record keeping and reporting. In short, that's what I wanted to raise the question to you. If you have anything in mind you would like to discuss or to share your thoughts about the topic, please don't hesitate to raise your hand. I would love to hear your opinion or answer your questions. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. We do have time for one last question, if anyone does have one. For Julia here today. Going once, going twice. All right. Well, Julia, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
See you soon.